You see, Rabotai Karim, sometimes we're so busy with our own life that we forget the world around us. So when somebody remembers the world around them, needless to say, somebody cares enough about their brothers and sisters eating, their brothers and sisters going to Gan Eden, it's a very big deal. Now, the biggest issue that we have, aside from the ignorance of the world today, is the fact that there is a misunderstanding of a lot of different things in the Torah due to this ignorance, but also this misteachings. And also a misunderstanding of where we stand in comparison to our forefathers, in comparison to our grandparents even. The Gemara in Masechet Chagiga on page 27a, but also in Masechet Brachot and Masechet Eruvin, it mentions the same thing a few times, where it says, Talmidei Chachamim en ur shel Gehinom sholetet bahen. The Talmidei Chachamim, Torah scholars, even the fire of Gehinom does not rule over them. Why? Because the Gemara says, Talmidei Chachamim, Kol gufanesh, they themselves, because they have so much Torah in them, Torah is fire, it's a spiritual fire. That spiritual fire of the Torah is more significant than the fire of Gehinom. So they can walk around Gehinom, nothing's going to happen to them. But then, there is something that, this is very easy to understand. But then there's the part that people are confused about. It's mentioned in those three Gemarot that I mentioned to you. Chagiga, Brachot, and Eruvin. Amar Resh Lakish, אין אור של גיהנום שולטת בפושעי ישראל. קל וחומר ממזבח הזהב. Resh Lakish, the ultimate Baal TeShuva, says a Gemara that if you only read this Gemara, you become a heretic. The fire of Gehinom does not rule even of the sinners of Israel. Needless to say, the golden altar, which is a different subject altogether. Meaning that sinners of Israel go to Gehinom, Gehinom can't touch them. Why? He says, פושעי ישראל שמלאים מצוות כרימון. דכתיב כפלח הרימון ריקתך. אל תקרי ריקתך, אלא רקנין שבח. He says, the sinners of Israel, who are as full of mitzvot as the pomegranate is full of seeds, just like it's written in the Song of Songs, chapter 4, verse number 3, like a section of a pomegranate are your temples, regarding which we expound from there. Don't read the word where it says your temples, but rather rikatech is not rikatech, but rather rekanech, meaning the empty ones among you. Like this is referring to the people that are empty, meaning the sinners. So those sinners that the Shlomo Melech is referring to in the Song of Songs, those sinners, they still have enough mitzvot like the rimon, like the pomegranate. Therefore, those mitzvot protect them from the fire of Gehinom. Now, if you just read this Gemara, where you say, okay, this guy's a sinner, but he has so many mitzvot, he can just walk around Gehinom. Nothing's going to happen to him. Shiur number 84 goes down the garbage. All the schar ve'onesh, the reward and punishment lectures go in the garbage. Everything goes in the garbage. Why? So wait a minute, the Gemara over here meforeshet in several different places. It says, Poshei Israel, the people that are sinners, they have a lot of mitzvot, so that protects them from Gehinom. So this is a sugya that a person could easily misunderstand and simply get themselves to a situation where they become a heretic and promote heresy. By pretty much telling people, listen, no matter what you do, there's a Gemara over here, it says, even if you're poshea, even if you're a sinner, Gehinom can't touch you. So the rabbi says, you're going to go to Gehinom? Okay, you're going to be in Gehinom, no big deal. Can't touch you anyway. So that's why you cannot read Gemara and just translate it yourself. First and foremost, when you read Gemara, or really any major sugya, any major subject in the Torah, we don't learn from one source. Because the Torah is not like a fiction or non-fiction book where you could simply just see the information in one place and assume this is it. This is all it is. Our Torah, needless to say, especially our oral Torah, our Gemara, or they call it Talmud, is like your nervous system. Your nervous system. Where, although you may have a nerve that you think is completely insignificant, and you're behind. You're behind. Now you're thinking, okay, so if I hurt this nerve, worst thing that could ever happen, maybe I'll be constipated. Worst thing that could happen, maybe, I don't know, I'll hurt somewhere or something. It's a nerve. What's the big deal? You have a little nerve in your brain. You think, oh, the brain's probably really important, so I can't hurt those nerves. So that's an important nerve, because that, if one nerve goes bad in the brain, maybe the whole brain goes. So that's easy to understand. But it's very hard to understand that you could have a nerve in your behind that is perhaps almost as important as the one in your brain. Why? Depends what you call life. Now, of course, we all know someone has something go wrong in their brain. They die. Simple. Sometimes they live, but they live like a vegetable. But sometimes, if a person knows a little bit about the body, they know that the nerves in your body, they're all connected in one way or another. Some play a bigger role than others. Some are connected to more than others. But needless to say, everything is connected. Everything affects something else aside from it directly. And there are different parts of your body, for example, like I just mentioned, your behind, where there is actually a nerve there near your tail, where it would be a tail, like as if you were a monkey. If there were a tail over there is a nerve that if chas v'shalom, you hurt it, your entire body, every single part of your body will hurt, every single part of your body will be in agony, and the worst part is, there's no cure. You can't fix it. You can't rebuild and regenerate nerves. How do I know? I live with it. Now, how did this happen? Who, what, when, how? Bezrat Hashem, we'll find out one day. But the beautiful part is, the last thing on your mind that you ever thought was that, okay, so if I hurt my foot, then, my arm's going to hurt. No. What's the connection? But the key is to know that everything is connected. You have to be careful about everything. Needless to say about your neshama. Our Torah, when we learn it, we cannot learn it from a single source. We have to learn the entire nervous system. Every little thing that's affected by this Gemara, everything that this exact sage said about this topic and other connected topics, and then you take all of the pieces together, and now you have a beginning. Then you look at the opinions of everyone that's talked about what he said in different places. You take this, you take them all, you put it back in that same box. Now you have a bigger opinion. Then you take on the later sages, what they said about those sages. You take this one, take that one, take this one, put it in the box, and you continue building. Little by little, you start unfolding the layers of the onion and discover what the truth really is. And each and every level, you discover how far you were when you first read that sentence that said, whatever it is that said, and for example today, that everyone that's a sinner, they have so many mitzvot, they can walk around Gehinom and not be hurt. Now this very same Rish Lakish, in different Gemara, talks about Gehinom being a horrific place, the fire there being 60 times what it is here, but that's even on the lowest level of Gehinom. And he talks about how there are certain push'im and it's different levels of pushim in the Gemara Masechet Rosh Hashanah and other places. And little by little we start saying, wait a minute, over here you said a person that goes to Gehinom for not putting on tefillin, he doesn't want to put on tefillin. That's called a chet baguf. That's a sin in the body. Sin in the body. So you figure, okay, if this guy stole money, he's a bad guy. But if he didn't put on tefillin, he's still a good guy, just didn't put on tefillin in his life. He didn't want to do it. Like Maz says, if he stole money, he owes double. If he gets caught, he owes double. If he doesn't get caught, he just hands it, he wants to give it back himself, he has to give back the same amount. But if he doesn't put on tefillin during his life, the Gemara in Masechet Rosh Hashanah says he goes to Gehinom and he doesn't end. He doesn't end. Meaning he's not a bad guy. He's doomed. Now you're going to say, wait a minute, isn't that too harsh? Okay, go argue with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ask him, what does he think about your opinion? Ask him, what do you think about your opinion? Let me know what he said to you. Let me know what he said to you in your next reincarnation, if you can remember. After all the fires, it's kind of hard to remember what he said. People just assume, no, this doesn't make sense to me, therefore, who cares about your opinion? HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, this tefillin is a big deal. Much worse to violate this than to steal. Does it make sense to you? No. Who cares if it makes sense to you? That's Torah. If you're going to try to make sense of everything, you're never going to be religious. You're never going to be a shomer Torah mitzvot. You're never going to have yirat shamayim. Why? Because a lot depends on further study. Meaning that unless you have a certain amount of emunah and bitachon in Hashem by default, without knowing who, what, when, and how, you're never going to be convinced to continue your further study to find the real truth. You're going to just simply assume, since I don't agree with it now, surely I'm not going to agree with it later. If I don't agree with the sage now, surely I'm not going to agree with the other sages later. And which means that you're not going to learn, you're never going to find the truth, you're going to die in Am Haaretz, Bur, and a sinner. And think, no, but I'm going to Gan Eden, though, because the Gemara said it. No, you misunderstood the Gemara. You misunderstood the Gemara.
B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach, we're very excited to offer you the new Bezrat Hashem app 3.0. It's a newer, faster app, full of Torah, lots of Kedusha by the Shiurim that we do, myself, Rabbi Ephraim, Rav Chaim, where you'll have also newer features where you're able to use the app while you're using other applications on your phone. You'll be able to share the lectures directly from the app. You'll be able to donate online and support our Cube and our Torah work that we're doing. And the most exciting feature is that you'll be able to actually ask questions directly on the app and get answers from the rabbis directly from the app. This is something unprecedented, and Baruch Hashem will be able to offer it. Thank you again for all of your support. Check it out. Make sure you have the kosher Torah that will re-energize your neshama each and every single day. Call to B'chav Hatzlacha.